welcome to another episode of House of Cards. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate everyone that watches these videos more than you know. And today I wanted to spend a little time talking about PSA submissions and strategy around your submissions. Very exciting, I know. But before we get into it, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, that would be awesome if you can hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified every time a new video drops, hit the little bell icon right next to it as well, and that will give you those friendly little reminders. Also, if you enjoyed this video, and hopefully today is a little bit of a good educational piece here, you like the video, hit the like button there, and that would be awesome. That'll help let more people know this video has value and will get it to them. Okay, well, without waiting too long to get into it here, I just wanted to kind of give a quick hypothesis on why I'm doing this video. When I first started submitting the PSA, I guess I was doing it really blindly, just trying to get cards graded. I didn't have much strategy around my grading choices. I didn't have much inherent knowledge of the cyclical nature of the sports card industry and how you need to get things back in certain time frames if you want to maximize your profit. And again, this is if you're doing it as an investment sort of opportunity, not so much if you're doing it as a collector, other than the fact you'll just be without your cards for a very long time. Probably doesn't matter to you as much as far as when you get them back. But if you're in the mindset of an investor, it's very important to understand the cycles of the industry and when, is the best time to sell and the best time to hold and all of those things. So this all kind of works hand in hand with when you submit your cards for grading and the expectations of when you will get those cards back. And of course, the other factors that we got to talk about as well, which is the cost, what is the best, value for the card that you're sending in as far as what submission level. All those things play a factor in this. So I'm going to try and get this out in a really cohesive way, but I do these videos in one take. I don't really chop them up too much and spend much editing time on them. So a lot of it is just a fluid train of thought that is coming from me, but I do definitely want to make sure that there is clarity around what I'm saying in this video. So if you have any questions or anything doesn't make sense of what I'm saying, drop a comment below. I respond to all comments and I'll be happy to say what it is I was trying to explain or give you an answer to your question, essentially. Okay, well, without further ado, let's first just talk about PSA is, kind of the grading company of choice right now. We don't really need to discuss the debate around the other grading companies and why you should do this and why you shouldn't do that. My video right now is going to focus on PSA because I feel like that is where the hobby is, and I think that is where your best return of investment is. And since this is mostly made for the investor class, I want them to get obviously the highest return for their investments. So with that being said, the first thing we can talk about is the cyclical seasons of the sports that we collect. Now, I don't have all the sports in here. I'm just going to talk about the big four. I'm sorry, hockey. I'm not going to talk about you in this one because I don't think many of my viewers are that stoked on the hockey industry. But again, if you are, just do your own research. You can figure out when hockey seasons drop. Not too hard. But we'll drop up here kind of what's coming up this year and what's going to be happening in the next, say 12 to 24 months, which I think is important to think about because the time it's taking to getting cards back now can stretch, pretty far. So we definitely need to think way in the future here if we're going to make this into a nice, cyclical process. So let's talk about the next thing coming up is baseball season. And again, we're filming this here in February of 2021. So again, I know not everyone watches these videos when they first come out, but that's kind of the time frame. We're in early 2021 right now, and baseball is slated to start on April 1st. So we are about a month and a half, say 5 to 6 weeks out from baseball season. So we are getting pretty close to baseball right now. Also, when I'm talking about soccer, I want you to know that soccer is kind of a year-round sport where you have the different leagues and whatnot going on at different points of time. So I'm not going to pinpoint a specific time frame for soccer as far as, kind of the never-ending sort of leagues that are being played. But one part for soccer that I definitely want to mention is the World Cup in 2022 is slated for November. So that's going to, be probably the biggest milestone for the soccer collector coming up here. Obviously, the Champions League and the Euros and all that stuff is big too, but nothing is bigger than the World Cup. So we're going to kind of soft circle November 2022 as a big milestone date for soccer. So that gives us time. That gives us, roughly a year and 8 months or so from now. So we got time on that one. So not as squishy as some of these other sports. The next one kind of on the calendar is looks like football. So football should be starting again around September 9th. I think they're scheduling it. So, we're about 6 months ish out from there, six and a half. So we're getting close, but again, 6.5 months sounds like a long time, but when the grading of cards, it is not that long. So mark that on your calendars. And then finally basketball, which, is currently going on right now. We're not even to the All-Star break or anything like that. So we still got time, but the next basketball season will be late October, as long as, nothing changes with COVID and they don't end up pushing anything. But right now, late October, kind of assuming we'll be back to that normal schedule for basketball. So again, late October, again, we're only talking eight months away from now. So again, we got to take all these timelines into consideration as we make our decisions on how to grade our cards and what service levels we want to use if we're trying to get these back before the season starts. And the reason why that's important is because outside of, playoff run-ups, Super Bowl run-ups, World Series run-ups, those are always going to happen, but you don't know who's going to be in those events. So trying to predetermine, who's going to be the stars that we're going to seek to, who's going to be in NBA Finals or in the Super Bowl, those are things that you just got to kind of go by the seat of your pants on a little bit throughout the season. But if you're just generally wanting to have cards back before a season starts in order to maximize your profit, and usually you're going to want those back within 2 weeks to 30 days of the, first game of the season is probably your prime time there to maximize your profits. So 2 weeks to 30 days is kind of where you want to hit it. And I think, that's probably going to be about right for all of these. So we're definitely going to try and focus our attention then. So if you're thinking in those terms, April 1st is baseball season. Today is mid-February. So you're talking 6 weeks out. So really right now, we're about ready to start selling here in a couple weeks for baseball in terms of maximizing your profits. So, when we go through these pricing different levels of service for getting your grades, you definitely got to now, you're kind of on the short end right now in order to get it back in time to maximize. So we'll just kind of show you where we're at on that. And then if not, you just got to kind of understand that, you might get this back mid-season or even after the season's over. So you just might miss the window. But again, we'll kind of talk through that as we go. All right, now that we kind of laid the land on the different sports and their kind of cycles throughout the year of when they start, now we can kind of talk about the different service levels and what we're looking at as far as turnaround times and pricing. So those are your two big factors here. So we'll go ahead and look here on the PSA website. Pretty straightforward stuff. I'm going to first just mention that they do have a level service type that's not openly available unless you're a Collectors Club member. So I might point to that one here and there, but just know that those prices are for Collector Club members. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing to do that, and I myself am a Collectors Club member, so I was able to get the pricing. But if you're not going to do that, then just realize you're going to be paying a little bit higher premium for your submissions per card if you're doing the value sort of service levels. So just disclaimer on that. Okay. So let's look at we're going to talk about the main 4 levels of service. So we'll start with value, which is, a lot of people, you'll hear different terminologies as, kind of people talk about these, but value is more or less what a lot of people consider bulk over time. These things change over time, and a lot of people kind of terminology wise, they change. bulk, value, whatever you want to call it, this is pretty much the longest period of time that you're going to be able to get your cards back. It's also known as economy as well. So economy is, the same thing as value, but value is kind of like more based on being part of the collectors club. So they changed the name and whatever, but standard fare economy is $20 a card. Now that is up to a $499 maximum declared value. So you can, declare a card up to $499 and still send it in on the economy level. So that is a long time, because basically you're going to be waiting basically 9 to 12 months. Let's just call it what it is. So anything within like your standard collectors club value, pricing for those, they're all going to go in the same economy sort of level, or the quarterly specials that PSA does. If you take advantage of those pricing, those are all going to go in the economy level. And then of course, if you just choose economy, that it goes economy level too. So 9 to 12 months. So think about that. I mean, you're already past the start date of all of the sports that we talked about. So obviously baseball for sure. Football in September, that's only 7 months away, so you're past that. Basketball in October, maybe you get lucky, but probably not, because that's, 9 months is kind of the best case scenario for that. So you're thinking you'll get those back probably more like mid-November if you send that in economy. So the economy really is, I would say, best for anything that's kind of more PC, or anything that you don't care about in terms of having it back anytime soon, because maybe it's just a card that you're not going to sell anytime soon, but when you do get it back, it's cool. And if it, it's no big deal, you're not trying to recoup money, it's okay, you floating that money out there for a year, you're not worried about it, then economy is a great choice. And again, if you're part of the collectors club, I mean, the pricing is pretty fair. You're talking, starting at $10 a card, depending on which year and segment it's in. So the collectors club does give you multiple pricing based on the actual the time frame of the card. So vintage cards, which are like 1971 and earlier, $10 a card. Modern cards are 1972 to 2017, they're $12 a card. Ultra modern, which is 2018 to present, are $15 a card. And then if you doing like trading card games, TCG, that's Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and that, $10 a card. But the one catch with the kind of collectors club value pricing is that you got to submit a minimum of 20 cards in order to get that price. So if you don't have 20 cards to submit, then you're gonna just be stuck sending it at the regular economy level, which is $20 a card. So that's gonna be a pretty good gap there between the pricing. So I'd recommend, if you have a bunch of cards that you're not that worried about getting back anytime soon, you want to send economy, just wait till you get 20, save that money. There's no point in sending 7 cards at $20 a pop, when you can send 20 cards at $12 a pop or $15 a pop. It saves you a lot of money. And again, if it's not a big deal to you on the time frame, then I would just wait. The only caveat to that is if your card's value is above $199, then you naturally need to go to economy anyways, because you're not going to be able to qualify for the value, because the value is only up to $199 and the economy goes up to $499. So again, there's that kind of caveat there that if the card's going to, price out higher, they're going to just upcharge you anyways. So you might as well put it in the right class, even though technically the time frame is probably about the same. So you might as well just do it, because you're going to get upcharged and you'll get a surprise bill that you weren't expecting. So there's that. So we're going to go through the other ones. Regular service, that is, this, it's the old school 25-day, but we all know that's not accurate now. So basically what that is now, regular is probably around 5 months. So 5 months for regulars. So now regulars, you can look at maybe doing that for your basketball, which is in October, probably your football too, which is in September. You can still get those back in time using the regular service. But regulars is a lot more expensive. So you got to kind of understand that there's, a pretty big price gap there, right? In terms of how much you want to spend on this. So, the regular service for this is, $50 a card. So, if you don't want to spend $50 a card, you could send it economy, but of course it can only go economy if it's under $499 max declared value. So if it's above $499 max declared value, you might as well just send it regular, because you're going to get upcharged that anyways, and you'll get charged at $50 a card. So you got to see the strategy here is that you don't want to try to be cheap and send everything in as slow of a batch as possible. But if you end up sending something in that slow batch and it ends up, being worth more than $499, they're going to charge you the $50 anyway. So you might as well just put it in the regular and saved yourself 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, So think about that too, because I think a lot of people are always like, ooh, I'm going to cheat the system here and stick this, Kobe rookie into economy because I don't want it back anytime soon, and I don't want to pay 50, I want to pay 20. But they're going to see that, they're going to grade it, and they're going to say, yo, this is regular, or even higher, depending on the value of the card. And then there's Express, which is a $75 a card, and I think this is the one that I think most investors are starting to flock towards, because Express, it gives you the room to go up to $2,499 in value, and you get it back typically, and I know this is squishy and this can change fast, but right now I think most people are saying 5 weeks they're getting back their Express. So while $75 a card doesn't make sense if you're sending in cheap low-end cards, it does make sense if you're sending in anything, I would say, above $500, because you know what? That time you're going to save is worth $75. The market can change so fast now that a card right now that you think is valuable could lose its value, within the 5 months that you're going to be waiting to get a regular back. Or especially within the 9 to 12 months you'll be waiting to get an economy back. So you might as well just send it Express in order to save yourself the time and, pay a little bit extra. And again, if the card has enough value, that $75 really isn't going to make much of a difference at the end of the day. So why not? All right, we're just going to talk about those four, because those are the main four. There's also Super Express, which is $200, and of course that's if your card is a $5,000 max value. And I mean, again, if you have cards that high, $200 probably isn't going to really hurt you too much if you have to pay that. You get that back. It says 2 business days, but I would probably assume that's probably more like 2 weeks. So anyways, there's kind of the rundown of the main submission types for PSA. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to kind of go through my PSA submissions I have here, and I'm going to kind of show you the cards and kind of think about where these should fall depending on the service type. And it's going to be a little bit my personal opinion on some of this stuff, but I think it's going to give you guys a good idea when you're getting your submissions ready to think through of when you should try to get this back by, what submission type you should use, and does it make sense financially for the submission type that you want to choose based on the card's value. So with that, let's go into first and foremost, do any of these cards need to go into the value collectors club sort of price brackets, which means I need to have a minimum of 20 per date, per age range, right? So, if it's ultra modern or modern or vintage, I need to have at least 20 per date range in order to qualify for that. So the first thing that comes to mind on that is Marvel cards, because Marvel cards are obviously all the rage right now. I think a lot of people are really excited, but we also got to think there's going to be a lot of Marvel cards in PSA right now. I don't know if it's a smart move to send Marvel cards on a slow submission level, because I think that's what the majority of people are doing because of the fact that they are such low value cards, or they were in the past. And I don't know if many people have the foresight to think through of like, wow, I could spend $75, get this back, and if it comes back at 10, this Spider-Man might be worth $1,000. Therefore, that 75 really is, who cares, right? But I think a lot of people have these in such bulk that spending $75 a card is going to just hurt the wallet pretty bad. And maybe they're going to probably end up sending these either economy or value, which is essentially the same time frame, depending if you have the Collectors Club or not, as far as the price goes. But I think most people can swallow $12, $15 a card But you also got to think about the max declared value, because these things have jumped up so much recently that, you know, if you get a PSA 10 Spider-Man, you know, 1990 Marvel, you're going to probably, your max declared value is going to be over $1,000 unless it dramatically drops off a cliff. So if that's the case, you might as well just send it express, because it's going to cost you $75. It's only and your value can go up to $2,500. So you might as well just spend $75 if you're strongly under the impression your card will get a 10. Now, if the card's questionable, it's off-centered, maybe it's a little, you know, funky around the edges, whatever it is, and there's a chance that it might come back an 8 or a 9, then you got to think about that in terms of how you submit it, because you don't want to spend $75, the card comes back an 8, and the card's worth $40. Not saying that's what it's going to be worth, but most likely it's going to be under $100 value if it comes back an 8, even if it's a, you know, a sought after card. So you got to kind of think about all these things in terms of when you're submitting. So I would say for Marvel cards, if you feel like it's a home run PSA 10, I would stick it on Express right now, $75 card, because if it does come back a PSA 10, it's going to be over $1,000 anyways. I mean, if it's one of the main characters. I'm not saying like any scrub in the set will be worth $1,000, but if it's Spider-Man or Iron Man or Black Panther or, you know, any of those main dudes, like, that is when you need to make sure you submit it at the right level for the value is going to come back. So don't forget, PSA's value is based on the grade that you think it's going to get and what the current market value is for that. However, if the market value changes during the submission time frame, they're going to look at it at the time they're grading it, not at the time you submitted it. So if it jumps, they're just going to upcharge you. So you might as well play for the worst case scenario. So the Express gives you $2,500. I don't think, I could be wrong because these things are going crazy. I don't think a Marvel, 1990 Marvel, any character card is going to be over $2,500 in a 10. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think even if it's $2,700, they'll let it slide depending, you know, how close it is. But if you're trying to submit it at the regular service level at a $999 max value, then if you PSA 10, they're gonna upcharge you to an Express anyways. So you might as well send it Express. Okay, we won't dig into that too much more, but we'll start with my little Marvel set here. So first thing I know is I do not have 20 Marvel cards here to submit, so I can't do it through the Collectors Club anyway. So it can't go through the regular value pricing. So my next best option is going to be Economy. Now, Economy gives me up to $4.99 max declared value. Now, my next question is, do any of these I feel are going to be worth more than $500? And honestly, I don't think any of these first ones here, which are kind of a mix of different years of Marvel. These aren't the 1990 Marvels, which are the ones that are kind of booming right now. These are the 1990 Marvels that I pulled out because they were crisp. They had perfect corners. The edges look clean. The surface looks clean. However, I don't think any of these have a perfect 50-50 centering. I would say there's probably, I would probably say this Punisher is probably the closest one of all of them to 50-50. And I would say this is probably, yeah, I mean, this was pretty good. I could see this possibly getting a PSA 10. Now, I'm going to double check it again before I decide that. I'm going to really look at this thing because, you know, they're looking at everything. So if there's any chipping around the edges or there's anything that can cause this to drop to even a 9, you might as well just stick it in regular. Save yourself the $25. You'll get it back probably a little bit sooner than the average Joe because most people are probably sending these in Economy. And maybe you'll be able to hit the market, get it there early enough. Because we all know that the earlier you get your cards back and the less cards are in the population report, the more value they carry because there aren't that many for people to buy. But once they start coming back and all of these economy level or value levels start trickling in 9 to 12 months, the market's going to get flooded and the prices are going to drop. So the strategy is get it back as soon as possible, but also without spending $1 million to get them graded if they come back low grades. So I would say I would send all of these in on regular service at $50 a card, assuming they all come back as 9s. and I can check the value of these in a 9 and just make sure I feel good about it. Because honestly, if I'm spending $50, I spend next to nothing on the cards themselves. I spent 50 cents on these cards. So pretty much the only money I'm into it is whatever I grade it at. So if it's $50 a card, they grade out at 9s. I want them to be at least worth $100 or more in order for me to feel good about it in a 9. Because then I can at least, make $50 on my $50, right? I spend 50, I made 50, I feel pretty good about it. But if they come back 8s, I'm pretty much at a break even at that point, if I'm lucky. So, at any rate, that's my strategy with these types of cards. Again, these don't have like a super high value to these, but if they're graded and they come back well, they probably will be. So these will all probably go out economy as well. And that's how we will categorize those. So we'll put those in our economy pile. All right, next we're going to get into some football, and we got quite a bit of football actually. Okay. So the first card I have here is a Russell Wilson rookie ticket contenders card. So this is rookie autograph card. This is a pretty expensive card. This is going to be pretty easy because I can automatically tell you right now this card's going to be worth probably in the ballpark of $3,000 to $4,000 if it's a PSA 10. Now, I don't know for sure if it's going to get a 10. I hope so. I want to be optimistic, and I don't see anything that really screams big problem on this card. So I'm going to have to make the assumption it's a 10. So now I got to make a deciding factor of, do I send this express, hope I can get away with, the valuation being, it says up to 2,500. So, I mean, maybe they're not going to nitpick it. I know these have fluctuated a lot and, it just depends. But if it does end up 10ing and they do look and they say, oh, wow, this car is actually, going for $4,000, they're going to bump me up and upcharge me to Super Express for $200. So do I say send it express, cross my fingers, hope they don't really, check too much, and I only pay $75 and get it back in 5 weeks? Or do I send it Super Express, because if it does PSA 10 and comes back and it's worth $4,000, that's the category it needs to be in anyways, and I get it back in 2 weeks. Again, 5 weeks to 2 weeks isn't as crazy as, 9 months to 12 months, right? But it's still 3 weeks earlier than I would have had it. And again, I don't know I don't plan on probably selling this card, so it doesn't really matter to me. But the question now is, if it's going to get upcharged anyways, should I just go ahead and send it in at that level to start? Because that's what they're going to charge me. So I'm going to have to kind of think about this one. I'm going to really look at it. And if I really, truly feel in my heart it's a PSA 10, I'm probably just going to go ahead and end up super expressing it at $200, get it back in a couple weeks. It's all good. If the card's worth $4,000, $200 doesn't mean that much to me. So there you go. That's the strategy there. So we'll put that in the Super Express pile. All right, next is Russell Wilson Topps Platinum. This is a rookie Refractor. I think these are probably, and again, I'm sorry, I'm not price quoting these off of eBay right now. I'm just kind of going off my head and estimations, guesstimations. I could be way off on these. I will, of course, go back and double check before I make my final submission, just so I'm not screwing myself over. Again, I'm not too worried about this. 5 months from now, if I send it in regular service, I'll get it back in 5 months, which means that I can probably feel pretty good about having it before football season in September. So this will go in the regular service. Also, I think the value of this card in 10 is probably going to be close to $1,000. So I don't feel bad about putting it in the regular, because that's probably where it would need to go anyways based on value. So regular service. All right, Tom Brady. This is the Own the Game. This is from his 2002 Topps Chrome. So this is his first insert as far as I know. These aren't selling for crazy amounts. I want to say they're probably in the like few $100 range right now, but I do think they're probably going to become a little bit more popular now that everyone's got their eyes on Brady. So, do I need this back before the season starts? Maybe. I mean, it'd be nice to do a quick flip, but at only like a $300 PSA 10 value, do I really want to spend $50 on it? Because that's a pretty big chunk of the actual value of the card. So would I be okay having this back in 9 to 12 months? Hey, if it comes back in 9 months, that'll be right before the playoffs start, which wouldn't be bad because you assume Brady's going to be in the playoffs again. So I'm probably going to go ahead and send this in economy because it's not that important to me. Same thing goes with this Brady. This is a 2002 Bowman Chrome. I do not think this is going to 10 because the centering is not perfect. So I think this would get a 9, which, again, probably falls in that, $200-300 level in a PSA 9. So again, not super important and doesn't make sense to spend $50. I'd rather spend 20 and send an economy. All right. We're going to kind of fly through these two. This Bowman Chrome is 2004. So again, same category, probably a couple $100 in a 10. Odds are a lot of these Chrome cards, these older Chrome cards aren't going to 10. They're probably going to 9. So it's not worth spending $50 on to grade. So I will send it economy. This is a refractor now. So this is the red refractor from 2005 Bowman Chrome. So probably a little bit more value here with the refractor. So you're probably closer to that $400 or $500 range if it 10s. This card looks pretty darn good. I'm going to double check it because if it ends up 10ing, then, we do probably need to bump it up at least to regular, I would guess. But these are the kind of cards, too, where you can get away with because I don't think PSA scrutinizes these as hard as they will, like a really well-known, like high-end card like this. I think this type of card right here, you can kind of fly it under the radar. So if you want to send this in economy, even though it might be worth more than $4.99 once it's graded, the thing is, though, you don't want to, you don't want to spend more than you have to, but you also don't want to give it a value that it doesn't make sense. So if this is a 10 value, I could probably see this going regular. However, I need to determine that. And if it's a 9, then I'm definitely going to send it economy. So for now, I'm going to stick it in the economy pile because I'm not going to assume that that's going to 10. Same thing goes for this one. Great card. If this ends up 10ing, this is a 2006. If this ends up 10ing, this will be worth, a decent amount of money, probably $400 or $500, which, put it right on that borderline of economy to regular. However, hard card to 10, I don't think it will. It looks 9-ish to me. There's, always surface issues with these. So I'm going to go ahead and stick in this in economy because I do think it's going to probably get a 9 and therefore not be worth spending the $50 on if it's only going to be worth, say, $150. All right, same thing goes here. Pretty easy decision on this is 2008 Topps Chrome base card. Nothing special. Definitely don't think this is worth sending regular because I don't think it's going to be worth it as far as the value of the card. 2010. Yep. 2010 Topps Chrome Refractor. Again, same situation. If it comes back a Gem Mint 10, yeah, could be over $500. But again, the odds are low. And it's hard playing that game because you want to assume all your cards are going to get great grades. But, you can just look right now, top to bottom is probably 60-40 at best. Again, then you got to take in the surface and all the other things too. So, at an economy level, this card's probably going to be a 9, which would be, get in that nice $200 ballpark. I would say it's economy. Same thing goes for the Topps Gold. This is the paper version, but the numbered serial number. So, again, same thing. Hard to get 10s on these. Yeah, stick it in economy. And again, since I'm not really too worried about it, if Brady ends up playing again next year and he kills it and he's in the playoffs, I'll probably be getting these back around playoff time. So it might end up being a good time to have these back. So this is your 2011 Topps Chrome Refractor. So this one, nice card, carries good value. But again, I don't trust these refractors because, gosh darn it, it's hard to get a 10 on the refractors. So I'm just going to assume all these refractors are best case scenario 9s. And the same thing goes for the 2012. So we're going to stick those in economy just because they're probably going to come back at under $200 value, which therefore doesn't make much sense to spend $50, which is 25% of the total value of the card. So that's kind of the quick one on the Brady's. These two Aaron Rodgers cards, rookie cards, these are scores. These are a little bit easier to grade and get them back, but if these come back 9s, you're pretty much maybe worth $50 to $75. If they come back 10s, though, they're probably in the $300 range. So still makes sense economy because I don't really need those right away. Same thing goes with this rookie Stars of Tomorrow card. Exact same concept. This is the Prestige, Playoff Prestige numbered to 100, but this is his second year card. So again, nothing that you're going to be able to justify spending $50 or $75 on. So I would definitely say even if this came back at 10, they'd probably still be under a $300 max value. Same thing goes for the Turkey Red here, white. Definitely don't think that's going to be worth it. Same thing with the 2012 Refractor. Same thing with this. Was this 2010? Yeah, 2010 X-Fractor. Cool card. But again, you know, this is like 7th year Aaron Rodgers refractor, you know, X-Fractor. It's not gonna fetch you $700 or anything to, you know, justify your regular. Maybe a couple $100. So we're gonna put this in economy. Drew Brees, this is 2005 Brees Topps Chrome. So again, 4th year card of his. You don't need to spend a lot of money on that. So we'll put that in economy. Same thing goes with these two. Sorry. Oh, I always forget the set. It's cool sets, numbered out of 11.99. This is the Topps. What is it? Topps. Oh gosh, I forget. Anyways, doesn't matter. These aren't worth tons of money, so I would definitely will put these in economy. And then we got a nice Stephon Diggs purple refractor. This is rookie Topps Chrome. I think this is 2015. Yes, 2015. Cool card. Again, is it worth it if I'm paying $50 to get this graded? If I don't really need it back, no. Let's take it in economy. Okay. Now, I do have more cards here in the football. Let me grab these real quick. All right. So I do have this mosaic stained glass Russell Wilson here. So this card, I think, is definitely going to probably command a either regular or express, because I think graded, these are probably I got to double check, but probably in that like $800 to $1,000 range if they're a 10. So, you know, you can probably still squeeze it in the regular service, which again is 5 months. That's still before the football season. So I think that makes sense. So I'm going to stick that in the regular service. Now, this is just kind of one for my PC. This is the 2017 Prism Disco. So this doesn't really mean anything. I don't need this back anytime soon, so that's going to go economy. Lamar, this is the concourse, his 2nd year concourse. So again, I don't really need this back anytime soon. I don't mind, you know, even if this gets a 10, it's probably not going to be worth that much. So I would definitely say economy for that. Okay, I think that's all the football we got. All right, let's do a little soccer. So we'll start with some, here we go. All right, so this card's an interesting one because this card has been jumping like a lot. So this is the 2017-18 Topps Chrome Mbappe. So technically rookie card. A lot of people consider it rookie. So we definitely want to think about this card in terms of value, because I think a lot of people get fooled on how much this card actually is worth in a 10. Hard card to get in a 10 because it is Topps Chrome. Does have that roll surface problem that most Topps Chrome cards have. So I think what we're probably going to look at, I mean, minimum of a regular service, which would get it back in 5 months. And again, with soccer being year round, it's not super important to have it back at a specific time. I mean, it's nice before Champions League and you know, the Euros and that kind of stuff. But honestly, I'm just wanting to have everything dialed in for my soccer stuff before the World Cup next year. So for me, I'll probably send this in regular just because I have to, because the max declared value makes it so, because it's definitely over $500 in a 10. But if for some reason you know your card's going to grade lower, if you know it's a 9, maybe an 8, you can send in an economy and still get it back in time for the Euros, because you know you're 18 months out or 20 months out of the Euros, whatever it is. So you don't have to stress about getting it back in time, because you will. But these two Mbappe Chromes, definitely probably going to stick these in the regular pile. And this is the 1920 Topps Finest Mbappe, just as base card, so nothing special. So I'll probably put that in economy. Same thing with these two out of this world. These are just inserts, base inserts, so nothing special. So those will go economy. Same thing with this Finest Phenoms, economy. Prize footballers, you know, I think these carry a pretty decent return. I would probably say they're, you know, maybe a couple $100 in a 10. So I'll probably still put that in economy. Not that big of a deal. All right, then we got some Pulisic hollows here from Optic, and this is 1819. So this is first Optic for all these. So I got his Dortmund and his US kit cards here, both Optic hollows. Neither one of these are going to 10 because centering isn't perfect. So they're probably both 9, which means, you know, they're probably in that ballpark of a couple $100. So again, up to you on this one. I'm going to go economy just because I don't think it's necessary to get those back anytime soon. And then here's a Ronaldo. Same thing, Optic hollow. Same thing, not perfectly centered. So we're going to stick that in economy also. Okay, now a few more. Now things start getting a little trickier. Okay, so we have here a David Beckham rookie sticker. So this one is a hard one because this one definitely carries a lot of value, and the condition of this one is pretty decent. So I think I'm going to naturally be stuck sending this at least regular because I think it's definitely over $500 if it comes back a good grade. So I don't think I need to express it, but you know, for only 25 bucks more, is it worth it? I mean, maybe. I mean, it's not like Beckham is like playing right now, so it's not like I have to like get it back for performance reasons. It's just getting it back because I want it back, right? Do I want to wait 5 weeks or do I want to wait 5 months, right? That's the question. So $25 is the delta between 5 weeks and 5 months. You know, maybe I will send this in on the Express just because. Okay, now this one is also David Beckham rookie. This is actually a really high value card. However, this one is beat to hell. So I got a little bamboozled by the seller of this one, saying that it was an excellent, you know, quote unquote, excellent condition when I bought it on eBay. I did get it for a good price. So, you know, the old saying, you get what you pay for. However, it was a little misleading because once I got the card and I inspected it, I was like, geez, I mean, there's like, I mean, you name it. It doesn't look bad right now, right? I'm sure you guys are looking at us like being like, oh, it's not bad. It looks pretty solid, right? You know, it's not like torn in half, right? But when you pull it out and inspect it, there's quite a few issues. So anyways, this will probably come back like a PSA 4 if I'm lucky. But even in a PSA 4, this car is still probably worth at least 500 bucks. So I'm going to probably end up sending this. You know, I'm going to probably just go ahead and express this. Why not? It doesn't really matter too much. It's only a $25 difference, and you're talking about a $500 card anyways. I'm actually more interested to see what the card gets in grade because I'm just like, I've never sent in a card that beat up before, but it's such a rare, hard card to get. I was just like, you know, whatever, because I was going to return it originally to the seller because I was pissed. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, look how this came in. The guy tried to say it got damaged in shipping. I was like, no, it didn't. I was like, it was in a top loader. Everything was fine. The package wasn't mangled. Like everything was fine. I actually record me, you know, like you see my mail days, opening it up and, you know, pulling it out. And the marks on this card cannot be caused from in shipment, right? And they're like, you know, scratches and like fingernail marks and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, you're just a hustler, and you just sold me a jacked up card for a high price. Anyways, moving on. This is Diego Mardonna. This is like, you know, kind of towards the end of his career, not the end, but, you know, 94, 95. So this isn't like a super high-end card, but I think it's his first upper deck card, which I thought was interesting, so I picked it up anyways. So I'm probably just going to throw this in economy. This one, however, has more value. So this is his 1981 Calico Flash. So this one is definitely, this is his, he was a rookie in 79, so 81, you know, you're only year 3 at that point, right? So definitely a nice card here. I definitely want this one back sooner than later, so I'm going to go ahead and express that one because I think the value of that could be pretty high. All right, this guy's gone crazy over the last few weeks. This is the Mega Cracks Campio version. There's 2 different versions. There's the Campio, and then there's, sorry, I'm blanking on the other one, but the only way to really tell is up here it says Campio or it says Campia. I forget. Anyways, and then it doesn't say autograph. It just says something else. Anyways, I'm drawing a blank, but you get the point. They look identical besides those 2 factors. But this is the Mega Cracks Campio. So this is technically a Messi rookie card from Mega Cracks. It's not the really kind of high-end one that everyone, you know, clamors about, that, you know, fetches, you know, 6 figures. These are a little bit easier on the wallet, but they're still very sought after. And as of recently, I say over the last month, they've, you know, probably 10 times what they were going for, you know, say 6 months ago. So these have definitely started becoming very popular, and I think people are scooping these up knowing, you know, Messi is the GOAT of soccer in many people's minds. But anyways, these are definitely a high value card, definitely going to crack that 2,500 you know, regular service sort of rate. I would definitely put this into an express just because if it does grade well, I think this one's probably say it's a 7 at best. It's got a good surface, got pretty good corners. It just got a couple weird little things going on down here in the bottom, but I think it's a 7, and in a 7, they've been selling pretty consistently for over 2,000 already. So I think by the time it gets back, that could definitely jump up over 3,000, and then maybe into the $4,000 range. So who knows? I mean, that'd be awesome if it does, but I'll plan on the worst. But I'd definitely like to have this card back sooner than later because it is a nice card. So I'll definitely spend the extra 25 bucks and go from regular to express. So this is the 2005 Messi card, and this is the Super Barca. So this one is the second year card, obviously 2005. So 2004 was his rookie season. So this is 05-06 and 04-05 was his rookie. So another nice clean copy here. I like this one a lot. It's again has the same sort of autograph sort of facsimile on there, but it's a nice looking copy here. It's nice and clean, sharp corners and everything. So again, I think this one is worthy of expressing, because I think getting it back in a high grade will definitely be a nice treat. All right, so here's a nice, this is 2015-16 Select. This is the first year of Select Soccer, so pretty nice set. I like this Select set, honestly, better than the 14-15 Prism that, many people are clamoring about, and they enjoy the Messi Ronaldo went on that crazy spike in that set, and it was worth thousands of dollars over the summer, and people got their asses handed to them after it bottomed out. Select, again, I think is a better set overall. It's more limited. This is the kind of the base card level, but it's a nice looking card. I mean, it's just a really beautiful card. I do already have a Messi in grading that's been there for a while, so I wanted to get a Ronaldo as well, so I'm going to send this one in. But this one isn't anything I need back right away. It's not going to, I don't need to like quick flip it or anything, so I'm going to put that in the slow roll pile. Okay. So this is a nice Marcus Rashford. This is 16-17 Select, so the second year Select. Just a nice looking card, real pretty. Colors are really beautiful. It's a limited card, so it's the 249. I don't think I need this back anytime soon. I mean, it would be nice to have, obviously, before World Cup and stuff, so I think I could stick it in the value. Now this guy, I'm kind of thinking about expressing it, just because I think Mbappe's blowing up, so I figure it's a good time to kind of get his stuff back. And this is a nice gold copy of his Donruss Out of This World, out of 75. So I think this one I'll probably send in the express, because I think in a high grade this is probably worth a decent penny. So we'll stick that in the express pile. All right, and we got some basketball. So these are the plastic cards from the 92 Olympic, Dream Team set. So this is from Hoops. So these are limited print run, short printed. I'm not sure how many were in per box. They don't say the pack odds, but they're not super readily available. So I think these are pretty sweet. I want to get these graded. They both have a little bit of surface scratching, so I'm not expecting a 10 or anything, but I think they're pretty sweet. So I'm gonna go ahead and just stick those in the regular, not the regular service, the value sort of service one. Here's the other one. This one's from Skybox. It's pretty cool. They're Dream Team. There's a little story there, so we'll stick that in the bulk. So this is a nice Kobe Fleer Ultra. This is the gold medallion. So you can see down there. Yeah, these are pretty limited. They're just really pretty cards. I mean, just the photography on that's incredible with the gold background. Pretty nice card in a high grade. It's like his third year card, so it's not, super valuable, but, it is a limited edition Kobe Bryant card, which, as we all know, are doing very well right now. But not anything I need back. And then good old AI here in this Topps Lights Camera Action card. This is a cool looking card. The highlight reels. I just think it's really slick looking card. So this is 99. So classic AI, but nothing I need back right away, and it's not super valuable, so it's not worth dropping 50, 75 bucks on grading. So that'll go in our slow roll pile. So this nice Durant here, this is 0708 Fleer. This is one of the Rookie Sensations inserts. So this is a pretty clean copy, and I think this could probably get a 10. I'm gonna, I don't know. I'm thinking the basketball season, as long as I get it back before next season, I think that's the important part. I think even though I think Brooklyn's probably gonna make the playoffs, they might make a run. I don't want to rush it and then it ends up, end up spending $75 to get it back in time before the playoffs. I don't want to end up getting it back and then it not being a 10, and then I just wasted 60-70% of the value of the card on grading it a 9. So I'm probably going to do this in the regular pile, but not the express pile. And then here's another one, same situation, nice looking card, super clean copy. 0708 Fleer. This is the base card, so this isn't the insert, this is the standard base card. So I think this card is gonna jump up in value a lot, but I don't know. This one I'm on the board, like this one actually has more value than the other one, so I could justify paying the extra, few bucks for it. But I'm gonna think about this one. It's either gonna go express at $75 or regular service at 50. But again, if it goes regular service, it's not gonna be done before the playoffs. So I would have to assume that I'm just basically going for next season at that point. If I did send it express, I can get it back in time for the playoffs. But $75, meh. I don't know. I gotta check what they're going for. If they're going for over $500 or something like that, then I could see why it would make sense to go express. But if it's under that, then definitely probably just gonna go regular service. So we'll take a look at that one. And this Dave Robinson is really beautiful. I just grabbed this one because I really liked it a lot. I like PMGs in general, so if I ever see some of players that I like, then I just grab them up. So this is actually only my third PMG, so I have 2 Bo Jacksons, and then I have this one. But I'm going to continue to grab some more because I just think they're really cool cards. And, this is the 13-14 Metal Universe Fleer Retro set, so this isn't like the OG 97 set, but still, it's a cool card. It's actually, to me, personally, I think it's actually cooler that he's in his Navy college jersey, just because he's called the Admiral as his nickname, and people always forget why he's called the Admiral. It's because he actually served time in the military, and so anyways, I think it is a pretty cool card overall. So I think I'm going to send this one in on the slow roll, the value, but because I'm not again not a quick flip for me, just something cool to have. All right, a few more basketball here. Oh, one more basketball and then some baseball. So this is just kind of a real basic Fantasy Stars insert. LeBron James. This is the purple refractor. Nothing crazy. It doesn't have a super high value, but graded is worth a couple $100 probably if it comes back a good grade. So yeah, again, nothing I need to go spend $50-$75 on. So we'll send this in value as well. All right, and then we got some baseball. So these are just a couple from the Aoki set. These are just the base cards. So this is the Lewis Robert rookie, just the base, nothing special. And so that, it's I could chase the baseball season here, but it's definitely not worth sending it in on any sort of express. So we'll definitely send this in value. Same thing with the Kyle Lewis base card. We'll put that in the value. The Jared Kelenic, he's probably not even going to play until next season. As far as I can tell, I keep up with the Mariners because I'm obviously a homer from Seattle, but I don't think that they're going to bring him up this season. I think he still needs a little bit more time in the farm system. So I'm going to go ahead and slow roll this with the assumption that I'll get it back for the beginning of next season, which will be perfect timing. If it does take a full year to get it back, it'll be right around this time next year, which will be 5 weeks before the season. So I'm going to slow roll this, save myself a few bucks, but definitely something that I'll be excited to have. Of course, I'm sure they'll end up calling him up and he'll come in and kill it, and I'll have his card sitting in PSA wishing I had it. Here's a Griffey. Again, my PC stuff doesn't really matter to me. I'll get it back later. This is a select 2013 select. Yeah, silver Griffey. So don't mess with too much Panini baseball, but I like this card just because I think it's really beautiful. So I'll grab that and I'll put that in the value slow roll. Oh, a couple more. One more here. So this is a Kyle Lewis rookie card. This is the Atomic Refractor, Bowman's Best. Of course, this year is rookie season. So again, too soon to try to slam this through for baseball season this year, because I need it back in a few weeks and it's not worth the express. So we'll put that in a slow roll and we'll just save it for next year. All right, and then we have one UFC. I have others, but I'm gonna send those in a different one. But this one is Nate Diaz. This is I think this is the silver out of 188. This is from 2013 Topps. So just a nice, cool card. Nate Diaz is one of the more beloved fighters in the UFC. I have a theory that I think UFC cards are going to really start to explode. Well, because of the fact that they're coming out in Panini now, they're going to start producing them this year with Prism and Select and all the different high-end sets in Panini. Which what I think is going to happen is it's going to cause people to look back into the original sets. Top started it in 2009, so I think what's going to happen is the 2009 and those first few years of Topps cards are going to start getting a lot of value because they're going to be considered the OG sets. And you know how that goes when like the first Topps Chrome, and the first whatever, it just becomes a thing. So I got a sneaky suspicion that 2009 Topps UFC cards are going to go through the roof. They already kind of are. I don't know if you guys ever look at them, but they're pretty expensive already. More expensive than I thought they would be when I first started kind of digging around. I was like, ooh, maybe I'm early to this, to this party, and I get there, and of course everything's already like jacked up. But I'm gonna go ahead and just keep trying to grab some early UFC stuff of the the key fighters that everyone loves. The Randy Couture's and the Tito Ortiz and the I mean, there's probably a good 10 or so, I think, early guys. Nate Diaz is one of them. Chuck Liddell, all those guys that are just like the OGs of the sport, I think are going to really get a lot of love in the near future here once people start getting more into UFC. So pretty cool. So that'll go slow roll. I don't need that back tomorrow. So we'll put that in the value. And then one other thing I want to talk about when you're considering your submissions is doing crossovers. So I know there's a lot of kind of conversation around crossovers and the strategy around those, because I know it's hard, because I've heard every story you can think of in terms of like, oh, this, I tried to cross over this BGS, 9.5, and it had, all 9.5s and 110 subgrade, and it looked beautiful, and it didn't cross. And then I see people, with BGS 9s crossing them over to PSA 10s. So it's kind of a weird science. I don't really know what their thing is. I think most people that cross, what they do is they end up cracking it and then submitting it just so it gets kind of a fresh set of eyes on the card instead of them going off of the other grading company. So take it for what it is. I don't know if that's the right move or not, but I think on this one I'm going to crack it and then send it, because I'm just worried that if they see the 8.5, they're going to just have that, I guess, bias already in their mind that this card is not a 9 and I want this card to be a 9. So I think in this case, I'm going to crack it and I'm going to submit the card itself without the crossover. But I'll show you another example. Bear with me to my case here. So this one, I'm considering crossing over. So I'll probably end up sending this in with the shipment. But my strategy on this one is, look at those subgrades. Incredible subgrades. 2 9.5s and a 9 on a 7.5 where the corners are 7. And there's only really one bad corner, which is this one. And it's not like atrocious. It's just a little dinged. So I think if this can cross to an 8, that's my goal. If I can get this to an 8, that'll be, I mean, this card in an 8 right now is going for a pretty solid chunk of change. So I kind of think that this one, sending it in with the case as a BGS 7.5 and then putting the minimum grade as an 8, I think is the move. The other reason why you don't want to crack this one out is because if it doesn't cross to an 8, and you don't want this to come back in a PSA 7, even though the PSA 7 and the BGS 7.5 are probably pretty comparable, but what you won't get is you won't get these subgrades anymore. So if you know anything about subgrades make a huge difference in pricing. A 9.5, you know, with 3 9.5s and 2 9s, sorry, that's wrong, with 3 9.5s and 1 9, or, you know, a 2 9.5s and 2 9s is way less valuable than, say, BGS 9.5 with 2 10s and 2 9.5s. So you got to always play the subgrade game, and understand that there's a lot of value in the subgrades. So I think that if this doesn't cross to an 8, I don't want them to take it out of this BGS case, because I think that's gonna, you know, still give it more value than it would as a PSA 7. Even though if it was apples to apples and there was no subgrades, let's just say, and it was a 7.5 versus a PSA 7, the PSA 7 is gonna be more valuable. But in this case, since it has a subgrades and the subgrades are so high, I think the move is to keep it in the 7.5 BGS if it doesn't cross to an 8. So when you select the crossover option for your card, you can pick your minimum grade, and I'm going to say a minimum grade I want is an 8. And if it doesn't get an 8, then they're just going to send it back just like this. So that's perfect. All right, guys. Well, I think that's about it. It is a pretty long-winded video, but I think that's important information for people to know if you're kind of new to grading and you're kind of in this world of, hey, I'm an investor, I want to make some money, but I need to be strategic because I don't have just tons of cash flow coming in at all times. So I need to get stuff back, and I need to make sure I grade it right so I don't get upcharged, and, you know, all those types of things that become, you know, very important and very expensive if you don't know what you're doing. So I hope that video there added some value for you when you're looking to grade your cards. Just make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you look at recent comps for what the card is selling for, or has sold for, not selling, sold. Also, make sure that you are looking at the actual card itself, and don't be too biased with the grading. Be realistic. If you look at your card and you know in your heart that it's not a 10, don't price it, you know, for a 10, you know, factor. You know, you want to understand what the card's true value is. So, you know, even skew a little bit down. If you think it's a 9, you know, maybe shoot for pricing of an 8, and then kind of see what the actual value of the card is in an 8. I think the average person is typically underwhelmed with the results of grading versus surprised and is overgraded. I think there's a lot more undergrades than are overgrades. So always be realistic about it, and you know, that way when you do get back grades and they aren't, you know, the all 10s and 9s that you were hoping for, you planned accordingly and you didn't end up spending too much on your grading for a card that comes back only worth 40, 50 bucks, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I have to say about that. If you guys have any questions about this, or you need any clarity on anything, I know I kind of am long-winded and kind of, you know, do a big run-on sentence sometimes here, but I hope that all made some sense to you, and you guys have some success in your future grading. All right. Until then, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe. That'd be really, really cool. And if you liked what I went through in this video, hit the like button. And if you hated it, hit the thumbs down button. That's cool too. Feedback is feedback. I appreciate it all. All right, until next time, guys, peace.